to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Bring new life to metal treasures with Kaiser Blasting and Coatings. From railings and fences to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. For tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Football game days are fun for the whole family, but not every child is ready for 4 quarters in the stadium. That's why the Lincoln Children's Museum offers game day play dates for kids ages 5 to 12. While you enjoy the game, your kids enjoy their own adventure at the museum, conveniently located just steps from the stadium. Registration required. And the fun isn't just on game days. The museum is open 6 days a week with 3 floors of hands-on play and activities. Out-of-town families, make the most of your weekend in Lincoln. Visit LincolnChildren'sMuseum.org.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the 2nd season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovebneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today. Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Lafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is Thursday here on The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you, rocking solo for this first segment as AD is wrapping up his speaking engagement in Norfolk. He'll be joining into the show shortly before 9:30 or so. We'll actually be able to take a little bit of an earlier break here in this first segment and welcome in AD Aaron Davis at the start of the next segment. Plenty of stuff to get through, though, throughout the show. It's going to be a really fun, fast-paced show as well, especially on a day where we obviously remember the 9/11 memorial and everything. Jake and I will say this real quick before we get into that. Jake and I were fortunate enough when we went to New York last year for the bowl trip. We're able to see and experience the 9/11 memorial. I highly recommend it. If you ever find yourselves in New York City, go check it out. It's a really powerful area as well. And so I highly recommend it. Check out the 9/11 memorial. And obviously our thoughts are with everybody out in New York. And as we remember the tragic events that happened on September 11th of 2001. Spence, as always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961, all places for you guys to engage with the program on a Thursday morning. Once again, AD will join us at the start of the next segment. Just to kind of give you a rundown of what we're going to be talking about today on the show, I want to get thoughts on Nebraska's schedule here in the first segment, because we forget that this was the week that we should be migrating to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is kind of maybe put a damper on some things. Obviously Houston Christian coming in doesn't have the name recognition. And I know the guys on early break were talking quite a bit about the difference in fans that are going to be watching a Houston Christian football team this Saturday and compared to, their first couple of games. They're coming in off of a 20-10 loss to Eastern Kentucky last weekend. So we'll see what that, I want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on, not necessarily this weekend specifically. We know what it is, right? It's another chance for Nebraska to build off of Akron. It's another opportunity for the Huskers to play quite a few bodies, quite a few younger guys as well. Hopefully, selfishly, in my opinion, I hope that we get to see a guy like TJ Lateef again. I hope that Nebraska takes care of business once again in the early going, maybe not with, maybe without the fumble close to the goal line, but hopefully Nebraska takes care of business again and we are able to have conversations in the early stages of the fourth quarter, even late stages of the third quarter, where, all right, you know what, going into conference season, this is where Nebraska's at, and we feel pretty good about it. Because I think there's a large conglomerate, if not everybody, that is pretty confident and certain that Nebraska will be 3-0 going into the big game against Michigan next weekend. And there's so many storylines around that Michigan Wolverines matchup against Nebraska. But when it's all said and done, got to take care of business on Saturday. And so once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire day. So we'll talk about that here in the first segment in just a second. We definitely want to preview once AD gets on here, talk NFL situations with the Commanders and Packers going again tonight. Obviously, the Commanders, which team has more to prove? Is it Jaden Daniels in year 2? Is it the Packers, and they continue to try to live up to the hype of what it was preseason post Micah Parsons acquisition? Which one is it there? We'll dive into that with AD, as well as in the 10 o'clock hour, a really fascinating conversation just on the national college football front is Penn State right now. And the reason that we bring up the Nittany Lions, and I think it's important, is because Nebraska's going to face them later in the year, and who knows where Nebraska stands at that point. Who knows where Penn State stands at that point. But I watched Penn State go against Florida International in the early goings of Saturday and was not impressed with Drew Aller again. And you might remember that Penn State moved on from their backup quarterback, who is Bo Prabula, who is now at Missouri. And Missouri's got a gauntlet of a schedule coming up against three of their next 4 games are against top 25 programs. And so we're going to really learn a lot about Missouri and the SEC coming up in the next couple of weeks, and Elia Drinkowitz, their head coach. But with Penn State, so much is made about the running backs with Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, and rightfully so. Those are 2 guys that are going to be draft picks coming up in the very near future. But we talk about it time and time again. Most of the time we keep it Nebraska-centric. You have to hit on the quarterback. You cannot misidentify. You cannot bring in the wrong guys. You can also not move on from the wrong guys. That's another part of it, is who do you choose to cut ties and say, all right, you know what? We think it's best if you're not a part of this program. And in no way am I questioning what James Franklin's doing. And they made the playoff last year, right? And ultimately lost to Notre Dame, though, in the semis. But when it's all said and done, Penn State's in a very weird, interesting position, because on the perimeter, they struggled to, and they, to this point, struggled to replace a guy like Tyler Warren, which understandably so, a top 15 draft pick in last year's NFL draft. But when it's all said and done, we know what they have in the backfield, but if you don't have it nailed down at the signal caller position, things can get kind of dicey when you get to crunch time. And Penn State has a couple of really interesting opponents on their schedule coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I kind of want to get AD's thoughts on that as well in the 10 o'clock hour, along with other NFL storylines. We found out earlier this week, Chiefs are not going to put Xavier Worthy on IR. He's got that dislocated shoulder after colliding with Travis Kelce. So we'll kind of get that, because I know there's a lot of Chiefs fans that listen to us consistently. So once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys if you have any thoughts to add to the program here on a Thursday. Hope the week's gone well, and we're getting ready to hunker down and get ready for Saturday's matchup against Houston Christian. A day where we should be, I mean, if it was 6 months ago and the events did not happen, a lot of Nebraska fans would be making their way to Knoxville this weekend. And I'm trying to compartmentalize how cool it would be for Knoxville and for Husker fans to kind of invade SEC country, if you will, down in Tennessee. But then there's also another part of me that sits here and says, you know what? Nebraska kind of needs a 3-0 start. Maybe Nebraska's fans need a 3-0 start. But I wonder, and this is where I really want to get your guys' opinions on the Starter Heyman text line. Feel free to call in as well. I want to get your guys' opinions on what scheduling philosophy would you like for Nebraska to adopt? And let me walk you through it. On one hand, one option is a pretty competitive model, similar to Wisconsin right now. Wisconsin, the last couple of years, has had to play teams like Florida State early out of the gates. They've had to play a team like LSU as well. They've had to play Alabama, who they're going to face off against in Tuscaloosa this weekend. You remember last year, Alabama went up to Madison. It was actually a game that was on Big Noon Kickoff, and their quarterback at the time, I believe it was Tanner Mordecai still. They've added a transfer portal quarterback every single year, and so sometimes you can get it mixed up. But last year, Tanner Mordecai got hurt. He tore his ACL in that game against Alabama, and that's what kind of derailed the Wisconsin Badgers season from that point on. But this weekend, Wisconsin is going to go into Tuscaloosa and face off against Alabama. And then they turn the corner and it's conference season. And Wisconsin's got a gauntlet of a schedule coming up. They have to face off against some of the teams that Nebraska was able to avoid this year. And so I ask you this, would you prefer Nebraska in the future? Let's say you had all the scheduling power. Would you prefer Nebraska to schedule similar to this year where, yeah, you play a Power 4 opponent and in Cincinnati that might not be the creme de la creme, might not draw a ton of eyeballs nationally. It did on that day because it was on a Thursday. It was the opening week, and it was the only game on that Thursday that actually featured 2 Power 4 programs going up against each other. Some of the other games that were going on there were Rutgers in Ohio and Minnesota and Buffalo. Or would you prefer it to where Nebraska played a gauntlet right out of the gate? And obviously, everybody's dream is going to sit there and say, well, you want to play games that you win. And I understand that sentiment. However, when we schedule games 5 years out, you don't know how your program's going to be. You can sit there and say, yeah, you know what? I hope Nebraska's program, when we schedule this game in 2030 against so-and-so that's a nationally known power, we hope that it is, again, Nebraska's in a nationally relevant spot. But we don't know what's going to happen. If this last decade has proven anything to you guys, it's that we absolutely have no clue what's going to happen going forward. So when it's all said and done, I think that Nebraska's in a very interesting spot as a program. And let me explain why. They still carry enough national weight with their brand, with their name recognition. Obviously, the fan base is as passionate as they come, that you're going to be able to schedule teams like a Tennessee going forward if you so desire, or a Florida State or an Alabama. And you're going to be able to have the cachet to say, you know what, we're going to bring a large number of fans to wherever we need to travel, whether it's a neutral site, whether it's SEC country. We don't care if Nebraska fans have to drive. We don't care if they have to fly, whatever it might be. Dublin, Ireland proved that. I wouldn't mind seeing Nebraska in one of those nationally televised kickoff classics either. Wisconsin was there a couple of years ago in a very same spot that Nebraska's in currently. Middle of the road, Big Ten team. Maybe Nebraska's a little bit above average this season, hopefully. But Nebraska's in a very similar spot to where Wisconsin was when they played LSU in that kickoff classic. I struggle with this idea, and Indiana's doing this right now. We know their whole situation with Curt Cignetti. Put the personality aside, put the scheduling philosophy aside. We know what Indiana's kind of trying to do. Load up the non-conference with what we would call cupcakes or inferior opponents and, dominate your way to a 3-0 start. And then you get to really find out some answers when conference play starts. But now that, and there's been so much made about the AP poll these last couple of days, and I might be in the minority in this opinion. The AP poll doesn't matter. Like, sure, it's great to have a number next to your name, but I always wonder why we don't have the college football playoff poll from week 1 instead of why wait until halfway through the season to institute the college football playoff poll. And this isn't me discrediting the people that are chosen to vote and are a part of the Associated Press poll. But when it's all, at the end of the day, you sit there and you go, okay, we're gonna trust what these beat writers who have to cover a team for a large chunk of the weekend and throughout the week, what they're going to say and what they view the national football or the rankings to look like. But then miraculously in the middle of the season, we're going to say, oh, your guys' time's done. Now it's time to recognize the college football playoff committee's poll. Why not start that from week 1? And then it makes no room for controversy. And I think if we ended up doing that, it actually would force teams to then schedule harder opponents right out of the gate. The perfect example is a Florida State right now. If Florida State, they're thrilled that they were able to play Alabama week 1, or maybe take away the name and Alabama's situation away from it. I bet Florida State's thrilled that they were able to play a top 10, top 15 team right out of the gate. You take care of business, you win. What had happened to Florida State? A team that was 2-10 last year is within 1 week moved up to the top 15 in the polls. And then they're able to have a couple of inferior matchups. I think they played, what was it, like East Texas A&M or something like that over the weekend. Hung like 70 plus points on them. If Florida State plays East Texas A&M week 1 and then plays Kennesaw State week 2, they're probably not ranked, even if they did hang 70. But because they played a nationally recognized matchup, everybody knows what Tommy Castellanos can do at quarterback. Everybody's talking about Gus Malzahn's offense now that he's no longer a head coach at UCF. And everybody's talking about how Mike Norvell saved his job within the first couple of weeks. And things can obviously change. I think it's a high risk, high reward. And that's where I do lean and hope that in the future, we do get to see Nebraska face off against some of these nationally respected programs. This is nothing against Cincinnati, but Nebraska's got enough brand recognition, name recognition, passion in the fan base to where they should be able and willing and wanting to play Tennessee. And I don't know all the details with if Nebraska backed out or if Danny White and Tennessee backed out. I don't really care. At the end of the day, though, Nebraska should be a program that draws that attention. And I hope at some point they get back to it. The kickoff classics are cool because we saw how cool and enjoyable college football can be when Nebraska wins 68-0. And I'm thrilled with that. And I expect a similar result, maybe not a shutout, but I expect a similar result this Saturday against Houston Christian. But there's also a part of me that sits there and says, you know what? I would really like to talk about Nebraska versus Tennessee this weekend. Or in week 1, how fun was it to be able to sit there and say, yeah, Nebraska versus Cincinnati. Nebraska versus Cincinnati. Or we saw how fun it was to see just college football in general with all these notable matchups. And it was kind of like a hangover going into week 2. I'll say that. I kind of felt like there was a little hangover because we got spoiled with so many notable matchups week 1. And this goes beyond Ohio State and Texas. And this goes beyond Nebraska, Cincinnati on Thursday night. And it goes beyond all of that. It's from top to bottom, week 1 was spectacular. Not only was the football great, but the matchups going into it were a great conversation, great storylines, great narratives. And then week 2 comes around, and now week 3. Week 3 is a little bit better than week 2. You have a couple of intriguing games. But week 2 was, what was it, like 5 teams hung 65 plus points on their opponents? I'm not saying you had a letdown and like college football sucks now. That's not what I'm getting at all. But if you can be on the national radar week in and week out, that's a pretty good thing. And from the competitive side of it, Matt Rule or whoever Nebraska's coaches and whoever Nebraska has on their roster at that time, have that mentality of you welcome the challenge. And nobody, once again, is, and myself, I'll sit here first and foremost and say nobody's complaining about the 68-0 victory. I'm thrilled that Nebraska took care of business in the fashion they did. But so that's, once again, that's why I kind of wanted to reach it out to you guys. 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. How would you prefer Nebraska's schedule going forward? Let's get to some of these texts on the text line. I had to log back in, so that's why I haven't been able to read all of them. Nate in Lincoln says this: while big-time non-con opponents are appealing for the fan, I can also see the logical side and see that it doesn't make sense to play those games until they mean more. Exactly. I get it. Like, nobody's blaming Indiana either. Go ahead. Get 3-0 every single week, or every single year, and then you go into the conference play. I think I would relate it to the year with Mike Riley, to where Nebraska started, 7-0, had the nice win on the road in Bloomington against Indiana. But then it kind of felt they went to Ohio State and got boat raced. I wouldn't say fraudulent. Everybody loves to throw around the F word, fraudulent. I wouldn't say that. But when it's all said and done, I love the idea of Nebraska playing another notable name. Or a rivalry game. Like, I think we have to get out of this mindset that rivalry games have to be played or should be played at the end of the year. Big Ten Conference allows conference games early in the season. We're going to see that this weekend with Oregon and Northwestern. You want a way to invigorate things right out of the gate even more, provide a little extra juice? Look at Kansas, Missouri this week. Oklahoma, Nebraska, right? Obviously, Kansas and Missouri are in different conferences, but Nebraska, Missouri, something there. I think that can be very appealing to the fan. Unmasked texter on the text line, 402-464-5685, says, what are we even talking about? Next subject. Well, here's what we're talking about, unmasked texter. The reason I brought this up is because scheduling conversations are pretty important. Scheduling conversations are important. Maybe not with the fan base, but from the administration side of things, it is. And here's why. Because when we bring in the college football playoff conversation and whether or not teams have the strength of schedule, now that it's not computers generating it, it's all the human element with the committee. And if we talk about college football playoff expansion, we don't know. It's all hypotheticals of how these conversations and whether you play weaker opponents or stronger opponents and quality losses or quality wins or all of that is up in the air for interpretation right now until we have we have examples to point to, tangible pieces of evidence to say, yeah, you know what? It is more valuable and it is better for you. There's more benefit to play harder teams, even if you lose early in the year when it comes to in the eyes of the college football playoff committee. That's why we bring it up. Another reason we bring it up is because I was at Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas this year when Tony Petitti stood up there and said, hey, Big Ten Conference, we want this playoff model. We play 9 conference games, and that's why. The SEC doesn't. Well, now the SEC and Greg Sankey comes out and says, well, we're going to play 9 conference games starting in 2026. Cool. Even playing field. But then what does the SEC do? They also have that clause for all their teams, their member schools, that says, you know what, we're going to take it a step further. And right now in 2025, they have a clause to where, okay, we're going to play the 8 conference games, but the clause in the non-con is you have to play a high quality opponent. So that's why we get these Wisconsin, Alabama matchups. That's why we get the Florida State, Alabama matchups. So now going in forward, the Big Ten doesn't have that clause to where it's, hey, you got to play a higher quality opponent in the non-con. So now the SEC didn't even say, hey, we'll call you. They said, we'll call you and then raise you another one because we're going to keep that clause in place in 2026. So now next season, not only is the SEC on the same playing field in terms of number of conference games, but they also have to play another higher quality opponent in the non-conference. So then when you do get to those college football playoff conversations, which hopefully Nebraska's in either this year or the years to come, they can stand on the shoulders and say, Nebraska didn't just play Kennesaw State or Houston Christian or Akron in their 3 games, but they had a quality win right out of the gate. They had a quality win in the middle of the year in conference play, and they finished off the year with a couple of quality wins as well. So that's why we bring it up. That's why it's notable, because it's not necessarily the same conversation as conference realignment, but right now it's all hypothetical. And that's what makes the playoff conversation so fascinating. And we got a couple of minutes here before we get to break. What makes the college football playoff conversation just so polarizing is because we have no idea what to expect year in and year out. They change the committees, different opinions, different leaders. The chair stays the same for the most part. And that's why one of my favorite conversations from Big Ten Media Days was with the executive director of the college football playoff, Rich Clark. And it's just because how do you judge things? Trying to understand the mind of the committee. Because there's been a lot of things that are consistent year after year since 2014 when we implemented the playoff. But there's also been a lot of other things that aren't consistent. Some years they reward things higher than others, even though by rule, by definition, X is a higher priority than Y. But other years it shows differently because it's the human element. So I think that there is value in bringing this up. Let's get some more thoughts on the text line, 402-464-5685 Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Derek in a car says this: why risk taking a loss when you play in the most difficult conference top to bottom in the country? Playing Sisters of the Week and School of the Visually Impaired are just fine by me. You need to hone your craft, and this scheduling helps to accomplish this. Good topic, Nick. Thanks, Derek and Akar. Appreciate it. 7592 on the text line says, play a big game early. If you lose, it's better to do so earlier than later. That's a fascinating philosophy and thought, because we could branch off and saying one of Nebraska's biggest bugaboos in the last decade has been playing quality football in November. When you're playing 9 conference games and you might start out in the non-conference undefeated or with 1 loss, it is ultra important to play your best football in November. And that's where Nebraska struggled. Seriously, Nebraska, one of the worst records before Matt Rule. I mean, it's painful to go back and read that record of combining, 2015 2015 where Mike Riley started to 2021. Nebraska's record in November, fewer than 5 or 6 wins. I mean, that's unfathomable. It's unfathomable if you truly think about it. Let's continue this conversation on the other side. AD is supposed to join us. If not, we will dive into some other things, get some more thoughts on the text line. There's a lot of texts here on this topic that I want to get to. Maybe we can rope AD into this conversation as well. Once again, want to hear from you guys on a Thursday morning. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable channel 961. You can always reach out to myself or AD on Twitter, Nick_Sainer at AC Davis CO. AC Davis CO is the place to go for that. Once again, want to get your guys' thoughts. There's a lot of texts. I'm looking at 10 or 12 that we haven't been able to get to yet that I certainly want to get to on the other side. AD might be here. He's out in Norfolk, not at the mini putt place, not at the mini putt hotel. He's staying at a Marriott. But either way, we'll be joined expectedly by AD Aaron Davis when we come back. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Football game days are fun for the whole family, but not every child is ready for 4 quarters in the stadium. That's why the Lincoln Children's Museum offers game day play dates for kids ages 5 to 12. While you enjoy the game, your kids enjoy their own adventure at the museum, conveniently located just steps from the stadium. Registration required. And the fun isn't just on game days. The museum is open 6 days a week with 3 floors of hands-on play and activities. Out-of-town families, make the most of your weekend in Lincoln. Visit LincolnChildren'sMuseum.org.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the show, The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert. We will be joined by Aaron Davis in just a second. Before we get to AD out in beautiful North Nebraska, are you planning a trip to Memorial Stadium for a Husker game? Football games can be fun for the whole family, but sometimes younger children can't sit through the entire game. What should we do? And guess what? The Lincoln Children's Museum offers game day play dates. While the parents enjoy the game inside the stadium, their kids get their own game day experience through activities that include technology, science, engineering, arts, math, all of that with a football focus and really prioritizing getting active as well. It's affordable, convenient, and just steps away from Memorial Stadium. But I tell you this, folks, it's a Thursday. You have to register in advance at LincolnChildren'sMuseum.org. Can't just show up on Saturday ahead of Houston Christian and say, here's my kid. Would you take him? Would you take her? You can't just do that. So you got to register online, LincolnChildren'sMuseum.org. Houston Christian, close to selling out. Akron was sold out last week. Highly recommend taking care of that and enjoy the game. You don't have to, you pick them up to 60 minutes after the game. You can drop them off 90 minutes before the game. You can go to all the festivities, hang out with family, friends, wherever you need to go. And the Lincoln Children's Museum has you covered with game day play dates. With that, we bring in Aaron Davis. AD, good morning, my friend. Oh, as he takes a drink. Good morning.
Good morning, man. Good morning. How you doing, brother?
I am doing swell. I was talking in the first segment about scheduling philosophy. I don't know if you caught any of it.
I got some of that truck, yeah.
Yeah, so caught a little bit of the scheduling philosophy. With how do you feel if I told you that every single year Nebraska played an old Big 8 or Big 12 opponent in the non-con? How would you feel about that?
I have no problems with it.
Yeah.
No problems with it. No problems with it at all. Obviously, for to get your game feed under you, like they call it, your land legs under you. It doesn't hurt to get obviously a few games in there to where some teams that you should beat. But I have no problems opening up. For instance, Nick, like you mentioned, there were at the high peak of that Florida State Alabama game, there were 18 million people viewing that dadgum thing.
Exactly.
16 at its lowest. And like we talked about, man, that was 2.5%, 3% of the population that was watching that game. Right. So to me, and like you mentioned, Nick, I think I heard that right when I was getting packed and ready to roll in here. If you're going to lose early. So, I mean, you're not out of it, by any stretch of the imagination, this new format we may have. And as far as the future potential formats we may have, you're not out of it. So I look at this, man, and this new day and age that we're in, you got to welcome games like that. It brings exposure to your program. It shows where you're at early rather than October, or even 6 or 7 games in. Obviously, Nebraska, our real test would be, this is not overlooking Houston Christian by any stretch of the imagination, but you look up, man for man, tat for tat, it's going to be Michigan, who we really get to gauge what this Nebraska football is going to be. So, but I have no problems with an old Big 12 rival or someone else that holds that same caliber as far as that goes early on.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. I mean, what if I told you, and Old Dad 34 says that he wants to go back to the older scheduling model where you played somebody a little lesser in the first week of the year, and then you played the tougher opponents week 2. And I'm fine with that as well. Yeah. I think it'd be great. It'd be a great spectacle from all angles, whether you're a player, coach, or fan. It'd be awesome to see Nebraska play Kansas State every single year, one of those nostalgic teams, because the farther we get away from Nebraska being in the Big 12, I hate to tell people this, and this is not me throwing tradition off to the side at all, so calm down, Aaron Davis. Watch
your mouth.
Here's the deal: is the farther we get away from that, the people that are going to be cheering on the Huskers consistently are going to forget more and more about those days, and so you're going to start to gradually lose that nostalgic opportunity to schedule some of those older opponents. And instead it's going to be just basically what we hear through the grapevine and through people that were around in those days. And so I think that there's definitely avenues to where Nebraska can gain respect nationally in the non-con while also catering to Nebraska and saying, okay, this is what's best for our program, right? Because at the end of the day, I say all of that, what I said in the first segment, with the understanding that Nebraska, their priority number first and foremost has to be winning games, and it has to be what's best for the program. And so if that is to schedule Houston Christian and Akron or whatever the case is, then so be it. But I'm talking more in an ideal world. This is kind of where we're landing. Money G in Kansas earlier in the show said, what about playing an old Big 8 team each year? K-State, Kansas, Iowa State, Colorado. Hey, I'm not sure Nebraska wants any of that Iowa State smoke right now. Rocco Becht, quarterback, might be the real deal.
Iowa State is playing some good football right now. And I knew that game. We talked about that game prior to going on. We both thought it was going to be a close game. And Iowa State, in my personal opinion, I think they're better than 3. Whatever that final margin of score is better than Iowa. But yeah, Iowa State is playing some great football right now. Like, it goes back to our conversation about a month and a half ago talking about Campbell, man. I mean, the dude just gets those guys to show up and play, and they play with a lot of conviction. They play with a lot of one thing I was thinking about too, Nick, they play with a lot of discipline too, man. And they don't let the same play beat them twice. They have very short memories, which you have to have, especially when you're playing your interstate rival or any game as far as that goes, but especially with a game with as much passion and as much energy that goes into a game like that. They had their mistakes, but they didn't let the same mistake beat them twice, unlike Iowa. You're talking about Iowa with an anemic offense, and that has been kind of their badge for a number of years, and they kind of just snuck games out in the special teams and defense. But as you mentioned, Nick, now that teams have more high caliber talent because of the portal, winning the way Iowa's done, it's going to be interesting how they do this year. Obviously, they're only 2 games in, and they're not out of it by any stretch. But if they continue that current model they have, I think it's going to be tough for teams like that as well. You bring it to Nebraska, we can't be, hoping to get out, by 3 or something like that. You have to play conviction and smart football as far as that goes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Once again, 402-464-5685. We're going to dive into some of the interesting storylines in college football later in the 10 o'clock hour. And one of them, actually, CBS Sports had an article about the Iowa Hawkeyes and talking about one of the concerns that they have going forward in this year is the offensive philosophy. And I go, here we are, new year, same story, right? Like new year, same, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, same story, right? To where Iowa through 2 games against Albany and then obviously Iowa State. In the Iowa State game, you put a little more respect and you give them a little more slack just because of the opponent that they're facing. But I mean, once again, if I told you Iowa right now is 121st in the country in total offense, nobody would be surprised. That's just traditional Iowa. The kicker this year, or excuse me, the one caveat this year is the defense might not be as good as it usually is. The special teams. I saw the Iowa punter last Saturday against Iowa State shank a punt 2 times in a row. We never see that. So, where they're used to making up some ground. I don't know if they're going to be able to this year.
Yeah, they're going to have to clean it up, man. I know we're going to discuss this more too. Nick, what I want to hop on with you, man, is we got Thursday night football.
It's a great matchup.
Yes, it is. Nick, this game, obviously DP being from the DMV area, he's a Washington football fan, fanatic, grew up and obviously right in the throes of all the heroes, the Art Monks, the Theismanns. Man, you're running that ball like John Riggins. Hey, coach, who's John Riggins?
Exactly.
So that matchup tonight, and it's obviously this is the Cheeseheads will be out in full force there. Nick, before we dive in, I'm just going to ask you this: what's your overall feelings of this game? If there's a few words that come to your mind, what are those words come to your mind when you think of this matchup?
I'm so intrigued by the Packers continuously, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm so intrigued by the Packers because they're doing things uncharacteristically. They went out and drafted a wide receiver at the skill position. They went out and spent money. They traded for a big time, prospect or athlete in Micah Parsons, and they paid him as well. It's just they're doing so many things uncharacteristically, and they kicked the Lions' butt. And as much as that kills me to say, they were dominant from start to finish in that game. I'm excited to see the development defensively from Green Bay with the ability to have Rashawn Gary on one side and Micah Parsons on the other side. Obviously, we know Micah is dealing with some, slight injury that he's been able to play through for the most part, but he was on a snap count in week 1. And as he continues to get more comfortable injury-wise, health-wise, but then also playing along those guys that he's playing against in Green Bay, we forget this trade is only a few weeks old. He just got to Green Bay. And so as they get more comfortable playing alongside each other, I think that front four for Green Bay, even though they traded away Kenny Clark in that trade, it could be a real nuisance for a lot of teams. And then you on the other side, like tonight, it would be a nuisance. It was against Jared Goff, who might not be the most mobile of quarterbacks, but now in Jaden Daniels' second year, we know he can move really well.
Mm-hmm. Nick, you look about tonight, obviously Lambeau under the lights. It's going to be a beautiful night there in Lambeau. Fired up, crazy atmosphere. You talked about Micah Parsons. He made his, obviously, debut in week 1. And to more bad news to your Detroit Lions, Nick, they averaged 29 points per game versus the Packers last year. They only got 13 last week in week 1.
Well, they only had they were averaging 2.94 yards per play, which is lowest all time in the Dan Campbell era.
Yeah, it's all time low. You look at the Commanders' ground game, man. 220 rushing yards in week 1, 13-2 when rushing for 100+ yards last season, 1-4 when they were held under. And then you think about the drought. I was looking this up, man. Washington has not won at Lambeau since 1986. Nick, I was literally 12 years old the last time they won at Lambeau. Their last road win against the Packers was in '88, and that's when they were playing in Milwaukee, back when the Packers split games between Green Bay and Milwaukee. And you mentioned some of those new faces to watch. Obviously Washington has rookie Josh Connerly, the junior at right tackle, veteran Tunzel, he's at left tackle, Deebo Samuel, new weapon, and Von Miller adding push rush. That's a name we haven't talked about in a long time. Von Miller either. And then Green Bay, of course, brings the Parsons effect. Nick, let me ask you this. Obviously, he was getting his feet wet in the first game. How much of a factor? We know, I just read the stats for them. When they're rushed for 100+ yards, their record is entirely different. They're 1-4 when they rush for under that. how much of an impact do you think Micah plays? So he's been in there a couple weeks now, second game at home, under the lights, Lambeau. How much does he change the dynamic of Washington's run attack?
Well, I think Washington's going to have to be creative. I'm interested to see how they use not only Jaden Daniels in the running game, but then also they're going to use mostly two running backs in the backfield in Austin Eckler to a certain extent, but then the rookie that was drafted in the 7th round of the draft last April in Ja'Cory Merritt. And so it's going to be, how do they use those guys? But then also Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is one of those wideouts on the perimeter that in San Francisco, we know that they like to move him around and at times line him up in the backfield and get him the ball in some creative ways. As Washington continues to kind of conform their offense to using him along with Terry McLaurin in the receiving game, how do things change there offensively for Washington? So, I mean, I think I want to ask you the question, AD, who do we learn about more tonight? Do we learn more about Washington or do we learn more about Green Bay?
Nick, that's an intriguing question. And the word that me and Raph like to use from one of our online favorite personalities and yours as well, this golf pro guy, he likes to use the word elite, very elite talent. Yep. And Green Bay has they have a very different makeup this year with Matthew Golden, of course, with Micah Parsons, a quote unquote alleged potential, if I can add that word there too, elite defense.
Wow.
I think we know more about Washington and the beautiful run they had last year. And I like both of these teams. I really do. You know, the only team I don't like is New England. I'm sorry, Patriots fans. But right. I like Washington, the football team. And to me, the NFL is better when your blue blood programs like Washington and Green Bay are in the mix and they're relevant. But I think we're going to learn more about Green Bay tonight. I really do. And it's like Joe Beeson on the text line. He goes, we're going to see what Green Bay's made of tonight. He goes, go, Pack, go. And he goes, Nick, it is not too late for you to hop on that bandwagon. So I don't know if
I can tell you this, Joe B, I'm walking the other way. I'm going down the little trail. I'm walking the other way. I'll say I'm
walking the other way. I think we have more to. I think Washington is a team. I'm sorry. I think Green Bay is that team that we learn more about tonight. Obviously, with the addition of Deebo Samuel's, but we know more about Deebo than we know about Matthew Golden. He's a rookie. 100%. We know what Deebo brings to the table. How Micah Parsons gels with that defense, that's going to be interesting. Now, obviously, with Von Miller, we know what Von Miller brings already, similar to a Micah. But so it's I think we're going to find out a lot more about Green Bay tonight and how they do. Are they really real? If I can say it that way, are they the real deal?
I agree with you there. I think the answer there is Green Bay. I also, lower on the totem pole of priorities. Green Bay has a lot of guys and a lot of options offensively. Washington does as well. We just talked about him in McLaurin and Deebo and those guys, and Zach Ertz is still there in the tight end room and stuff. There's a lot of options on the Washington side, but on the Green Bay side, I think you're still waiting to see who's the number one option, especially in the pass catching game. Is it Tucker Kraft officially? Is it going to be a Romeo Doubs? Is it a Jaden Reed potentially? Or is it Matthew Golden? And we saw earlier this week, despite him being out for an extended period of time with an injury, they extended Christian Watson. They gave him a 1-year, $13 million contract so that he could just focus on rehabbing and getting healthy. And next year's kind of the big year for Christian Watson. I'm finding it. That's the one thing I'm curious about Green Bay tonight. We know Josh Jacobs in the backfield. We know he's a touchdown machine, and they love to go to him in short yardage situations, rightfully so. They're using him in ways that the Raiders did early in the days of Josh Jacobs when he was really dominant. But then ultimately, who's going to be that wide receiver that steps up? Can a Matthew Golden? Or is it going to be a Romeo Doubs going forward, a Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft? What's going to happen there? So I think that's where I'm really interested to see who's Jordan Love developed that relationship with in the passing game. All right, let's take a break. History coming up next. It's The Drive, sponsored by our friends at Doors Plus. He's AD. I'm Nick Sainert. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at UCLA in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at HuskerFanTravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a hotel in scenic Santa Monica, an exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on your game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA is not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at UCLA. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through September 14th, enjoy 10-ounce USDA Choice Top Sirloins for $7.99 each. All natural 5-ounce pork ribeye chops, 5 for $5. All natural pork belly, $3.99 per pound. And Bush Light 30 packs for just $18.99. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Aaron Davis. AD's back in the studio tomorrow.
Yes.
I know you're just as excited as I am.
I am, dude, because I miss you.
You miss me.
And I love you.
Hey, man.
I'm going to sleep outside your apartment patio tonight because I miss you.
No, you are not. The best part is we've had a lot of bits and a lot of funny things. The Doug the Dog thing might be not only the most accurate, but my favorite.
Yeah. Man,
anyway.
I was thinking about that, just laughing about thinking about Doug the Dog, man, and just how much fun we've had with good old Doug. Good old Doug. But I want to give a shout out. What's that?
On a day, if I ever get a dog, I'm going to name it Doug.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to the people in the community here in Norfolk. Have been good to me. I've been here since Sunday early evening, as you know, man. Great people. Nick, I took a tour. I didn't post it today and yesterday for obvious reasons, what this country's going through and et cetera. Don't want to be tone deaf, et cetera. At least for me, that's just my personal opinion for me. But nevertheless, I toured, and it's called Nucor Steel. Nick, I'm gonna on the next break, I'm gonna shoot you some of these videos. Unreal. I'm seeing these massive boilers with creating steel inside. You remember that? Obviously, the movie Rudy. Remember that scene where his dad and his brother are working in that steel mill, and how I mean, dude, I told the operators, and then the guy's name was Ted. He was dying laughing. I said, man, this is like the scene from Rudy. He goes, I never thought about that. I've worked in here for years. But he's controlling these, massive. It's 1,700 degrees in temperature as they're creating these massive steel beams. And to see this process, it looked like something out of a movie, man. So a big shout out to my boy Bruce Mills, man. Appreciate your brother Eric and Joanna, the whole team from Nucor Steel. Spoke to over 1,200 of their teammates the past 4 days. Just awesome time with them. Went to downtown Norfolk, has definitely stepped it up, man. Went to a great restaurant called Divots, the one downtown.
Nice.
Just the facelift they've given Norfolk, man, is just unbelievable. The home of Johnny Carson, but awesome people. So big thanks to them for their hospitality up here. It's been a great time. I'm ready to come home for sure. With my back, I've not slept the best because that bed is extremely soft. And so I almost made it to the floor last night. I'm like, I just can't do it. But, that's a small thing. Those are first world issues as far as that goes. And we have the option. But, Nick, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up it has to do with sports because on 9/11, our very own Dave Remington, the Boomer Esiason offices were located in the Twin Towers. And he lost a number of friends of his that were with other companies on that tragic day. And, Nick, I know you weren't alive, of course. You weren't born yet.
I was about what does that be? 7 months old.
7 months old. I remember that day, and many of you, the listeners, if you wouldn't mind, we're obviously going to take it back to sports, but I think we'd be remiss and very tone deaf, not to mention the tragedy that took place. There were 2,000 lives that were gone by a cowardice act. But at 8:46 a.m., Nick, American Airlines Flight 11, that's when the crash took place in the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:03 a.m., which would be literally, because that was Eastern time. So right now, that would be 3 minutes from now, 24 years ago. United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Actually, a little hour ago, depending on time. Yeah. At 9:37 a.m. Eastern time, so 8:37 our time, American Airlines Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. I was on campus working on my master's. I was in CBA, the old CBA building next to the library, and I went outside to use inside the classroom to use the restroom, and they had these TV monitors that was always on in the commons area. And I'm sitting there watching this, and I called my brother Mark. And my brother Mark was like, "That was no accident," because he was former military. He goes, "That was no accident. That was no accident." I go back in. Dr. Terry Sabor was my teacher for entrepreneurship and venture creation classes. And he goes, I said, Dr. Sabor, turn on the TVs. He goes, you guys are free to stay and watch, but you can leave. Class is dismissed. At 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashes into the field in Pennsylvania after passengers attempt to regain control from the hijackers. And at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. And we know the rest of the story, unfortunately, from that, man.
Let's we have to pause 10 seconds for station identification here, but let's continue this here in just a second. Oh, wrong button. There we go.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Yeah, AD, I opened up the show with this, obviously talking about 9/11, but and obviously everything that happened on this day. But one thing I did say is I encourage people, if you find yourself in New York, to go and experience the 9/11 memorial, because it is powerful, and it's the weirdest thing in an encouraging way. I mean, this is that you are in one of the busiest cities in the world, and on that block, it is dead silent. All the sirens, you can't hear sirens, you can't hear the horns honking. You go a block away, and the sounds of the city continue, but on that block, it is quiet and it's peaceful and it's really moving. And so that is one thing I encourage everybody to do. Once again, if you find yourself in New York, the 9/11 Memorial is really, really powerful.
Nick, I long for the days, obviously keeping it sports and not that, but I long for the day that we become September 12th again, 2001. This country, and I made some posts on other social media things, nothing political, just of unity. So if you want to see that, you feel free to go to X and look at my post there on Facebook or on Instagram. But man, my heart it just hurts, it just bleeds for our country. And you know what? That's the beautiful thing about sports. It's a way to mend. It's a good balm, if you would, if temporarily only. I remember when Sammy Sosa, the first game that they started having baseball again, after they started, he ran out in the field with the American flag. I mean, sprinting out in the field. If you haven't seen that video yet of Sammy Sosa, he's sprinting on the field with a small American flag, and the NFL regained again. It was just like I said, I long for the days of September 12th. Unfortunately, hate is unfortunately a common thing in America, in the world, not just in America, in the world as far as that goes. So, Nick, I'm glad we get to do something maybe to give people a peaceful and a distraction from the chaos for a little bit.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And just because we are an outlet for distraction and an outlet to get away from everything else does not mean we're not downplaying the severity of
absolutely
as well. So it's important to know that as well. Let's take a break. We're up against the clock. 10
Hey,
o'clock.
Nick,
what?
When we come back, I got some crazy Iowa stats and Nebraska stats.
Do
So
it.
we're going to discuss it.
Let's do it. 10 o'clock hour when we come back.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through September 14th, enjoy 10-ounce USDA choice top sirloins for $7.99 each. All natural 5-ounce pork ribeye chops, 5 for $5. All natural pork belly, $3.99 per pound, and Bush Light 30 packs for just $18.99. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. Branch. That's 402-560-6197.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hi, I'm Casey Oddie, and I'm the Retail Banking Manager at your local Midwest Bank branch on 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Banking may be my job, but supporting the community is what I care most about. Whether I'm showing up at local events, partnering with schools, or helping people reach financial milestones, I am proud to be a part of what makes Lincoln strong. Let's build something together. Stop by and say hi. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers is celebrating 120 years as Lincoln's top choice for fine jewelry. Join us for our anniversary sale going on now through September 14th. Enjoy an exclusive 20 to 75% savings on dazzling diamond jewelry, exquisite rings, and luxury watches. This once-a-year event is our way of saying thank you to a community that has supported us over a century. Come enjoy our lowest prices of the year and celebrate this milestone with us now through September 14th at Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, hour number 2 of the show. It's always sponsored by our friends over at Doors Plus. Visit them online today, doorsplusllc.com. We talk all the time, AD, about A1 Automotive as well. Great friends of our station, Kendall Warnock and Kurt, their entire team over there. Cameron Hall over at Doors Plus told me to let people know they did their garage doors for A1 Automotive. So those beautiful doors that you see at their new location over at 40th and Yankee Hill, all done from our friends at Doors Plus. So how about that? Ticket friends helping other ticket friends, all there as well. And so great stuff from Doors Plus, doorsplusllc.com. All right, AD, you teased it before the break. Now I'm calling on you. What are these interesting statistics you got for Nebraska and Iowa?
Ooh, child.
I don't know what I've ever been called that.
Nobody's ever said to you, ooh, child?
I don't think so. Not that tone either.
Dude, here are some of the stats. And the local media, you know what, Nick? I'm not saying this is going to happen by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I just don't. They are done with the excuses of Iowa's anemic offense. The number of defenses over the years, particularly the past 5, the number of great, and I'm going to say, borderline, I'm not going to say great, but they were very good defenses. In fact, they led to categories nationally in a lot of categories defensively, all to have it come to nil because of a horrible offense. Iowa put up just 13 points against Iowa State, 214 yards and 16 first downs. Gronowski is thrown for 83 yards and 24 attempts at that game. Would be bad for a running back, let alone a quarterback, Nick.
That would be bad.
Since 2019, Iowa's 53-24. Okay, 53-24, almost 69% of their wins.
Yeah.
Yet it still had one of the worst offenses in the nation. Their success rests on defense, as we all know. All right. Special teams, Iowa's defense, they're always good in the top 5 nationally every year for the past 6 years. Every year for the past 6 years, they've been in the top 5. But offensively, Nick, they're a meme. They're a menace. They're a joke. They're the butt of jokes in Iowa.
Yeah.
It is sad. And the thing about it is, I'm not quite sure how long the powers that be, especially in this quick sand of NIL transfer portals, that Iowa and Ferentz can keep this game plan, Nick. I just don't see it working. It's no longer sustainable. Dabo Swinney tried to hold on to that old mentality in the ACC, and he realized I have to go, even if I have to go reluctantly, I have to make changes to catch up with the times. Nick, if you're still depending on a convection oven for your meals, but we have high-powered microwaves, you might still eat, but it's going to be a lot slower. It's going to be a lot slower. This is a microwave society right now. And I ain't talking about the ones you had back at your grandma's house. I'm talking about those superchargers they got where the popcorn is popping and locking in 25 to 30 seconds. Iowa has a convection oven crock pot that your grandma had offense. It's not going to work in today's day and age.
Hey, I will not stand first and foremost for slander of the crock pot. Okay. It's been one of the best inventions ever known to mankind has been the crock pot.
Nick,
Now,
if you have time to wait for a crock pot, you can. College football is no longer a crock pot landscape. It is microwave, get it done, swipe right now today.
I have issues with anybody that's anti-crock pot. Anyway, no, I mean you're right. Here's the thing: is it's almost as if Iowa tried to ditch it. Like they tried to move on. They forced the hand with Brian Ferentz moving out and stuff. He's got to be done as the offensive coordinator. So then they go to Tim Lester, who was an analyst for the Green Bay Packers back in 2023, and that hasn't necessarily worked out to the best of their abilities. It's not as if they haven't tried to get guys through the transfer portal either. They've tried to get guys at the quarterback position, at skill positions from the transfer portal. You remember they got the tight end Eric All from Michigan, who was a notable playmaker. They went out and got Cade McNamara after he played in the Big Ten championship game, and his time was just kind of done at Michigan because J.J. McCarthy was next up. And then ultimately they went out and got one of the best FCS quarterbacks in the last decade in Mark Gronowski, statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the FCS in Mark Gronowski. And it still doesn't work. I think it's hard though, and this is where I can't fault Iowa, because they have the winningest coach of all time coaching their team. They win. You just said it themselves. They win games. It's so infuriating because, and I did not say that right, but I'm not going to try again. It's so annoying because Iowa wins games in crucial moments, and you sit there and go, how do they do this? Well, we know how they do it because Nebraska's been the victim of it time and time again. But ultimately, I just think that at some point the luck, or not luck, but the way that they win, it's got to run out. And it kind of just feels like that runway is not runway for Kirk Ferentz, but the runway for the way they win games, it's getting shorter and shorter, because I don't know if they'll ever say, hey, it's time to move on from Kirk Ferentz.
I don't see that happening. He's like the pun intended, he is the Dean Smith of the Big Ten. I mean, he's the longest tenured. I think he might be the longest tenured coach in college football right now.
That's right. After Frank Beamer retired at Virginia Tech, Kirk Ferentz became the longest tenured coach.
Nick, if I was tell me the year that you were in Iowa for that victory.
It was 2021, because it was the year that Scott got fired. Mickey was the interim coach, and I talked to Bill on the sideline after the game.
Was it 2021 or 2022?
2021, right? No, maybe it was 2022.
It was 2022 because we beat them 24-17. Before then, Nick, we had not beaten Iowa since 2014.
Yeah, 7 years.
We had not beat them in the past 2 years. The score's been the same. Late game, 13-10 both times. In 2023, Iowa's ranked number 17. Obviously, you know the game, the gut-wrenching loss that was at home, 13-10. The gut-wrenching loss, a guy that I like now because he plays for the Steelers, but I still have a hard time cheering for him when he got the ball Sunday because he was still wearing the yellow and gold, and I was getting some flashbacks when he had the ball in his hands for Pittsburgh, but he gashed us on that long run where there was a bazillion missed tackles. So we're 9-1 versus them since 2015. And the only, like I said, in 2022, when you were there, you were holding the trophy with Coach Bush and all the things going on. Mickey Joseph was the interim coach at the time.
Yeah.
But, Nick, I just tell you, I don't know. And obviously, that game is eons from now, if you would. It'll sneak up on us, but it's still eons from now.
Yeah.
Iowa is in some major trouble, I think, man. I just think they paid. There's words of $1 million, you know, if we're going to ask you to come there.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks worse than the past quarterbacks they've had. So I don't know what their situation is. And it's kind of like what Coach Osborne said. Obviously, we'll talk more on this when it gets closer to Black Friday. It's like Coach Osborne famous quote to the reporter at the halftime of the Nebraska-Florida National Championship game when they asked him a question about Florida. Well, that's their business. That is their business. I'm more concerned about us going against Houston Christian here with 2 more sleeps to go.
Iowa has a really fascinating schedule as well, because they'll be fine this weekend, you'd expect, against UMass at home. But then they go to Rutgers. They host Indiana. They go to Madison, Wisconsin. I believe that's the Paul Bunyan Axe, the battle for the axe there. And then they host number 2 Penn State. They host Minnesota. They host Oregon. They got to go to USC. And then eventually 2 games later, they travel to Nebraska. That is an insane schedule if you think about it. The Rutgers is just tough because it's a long trip to Piscataway. But then it's you host a top 25 program in Indiana. You go on the road in a rivalry game to Wisconsin. And then that's not even the toughest stretch, because starting on October 18th, you have Penn State, Minnesota, Oregon, USC in that order. That is insane.
Yeah, bro. It is. It's going to be interesting, man. I think, like I said, you know my feelings in Iowa. I'm not going to rub it in or anything like that. We got to take care of our business here in Lancaster, there at Lancaster County. But that schedule, based off what we've seen so far, if you were slugging it out with Albany for the first half and then lose to Iowa State, Nick, I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. Looking at their schedule before we hop on to Nebraska, I honestly don't know. The only game that I would give them even a 50-50 chance would be Rutgers.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so right now they're 1-1. They'll be, let's just say, best case scenario here for Iowa. They will be 3-1 after the Rutgers matchup on September 19th. Then it's Indiana. You probably give the edge to the Hoosiers. Then it's at Wisconsin. You give the edge to the Badgers because Billy Edwards Jr. will be back healthy. He's going to, by the way, Billy Edwards Jr., who is the quarterback for Wisconsin, got banged up in their first game of the year. He's traveling to Alabama this weekend, expected to not play, but he's traveling. So you'd expect by October 11th, when Iowa goes to Madison, that Billy Edwards Jr., the starting quarterback for the Badgers, is going to be back and healthy. So you give the edge to the Badgers there. Then so that's a 3-3 record, if you will. Then it's Penn State. There's not a chance on God's green earth that Iowa is able to score enough to play to face off and beat Penn State. So that's 3-4 record. Minnesota is a toss up. Okay, we can give it best case scenario to Iowa. Okay, fine, 4-4. Oregon, same story as Penn State, might be even worse. USC on the road, not a chance. Michigan State, I'm higher on Michigan State. I like Aiden Childs. I love Jonathan Smith. Saw him playing at blackjack at Mandalay Bay back on Big Ten Media Days. I like Jonathan Smith.
As you were walking by the blackjack table, right?
Yeah, I wasn't a part of it. I promise. And so anyway, I was a 3-time poker. Anyway, and Corey and Lincoln, thank you. Paul Bunyan's axe is Wisconsin and Minnesota, not Iowa. But either way, then help me out. What is Corey, without me looking it up, what is the rivalry between Wisconsin and Iowa? Is it, there's like the old Oaken Bucket is one involved in.
Help us out.
There's so many just random ones there that they're involved in. But then, you're looking at maybe 5 wins for Iowa. Potentially.
They're going to have to, and obviously, like the movie Any Given Sunday, there's Any Given Saturday. But based off what we've seen, it's not likely. We're just going to put it that way. It's not very likely. They have a very tough schedule ahead of them. I'll be surprised. I tell you what, if they pull out, if they win 3 of those games, I'll be shocked.
Yeah,
I just really will. I just really will. I just don't know what they do, man, because they this looked very anemic, and probably the most unproductive, and the numbers don't lie, that I've seen an Iowa team in a long time, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. Okay, I got the trophy. I looked it up. It's the Heartland Trophy. It's a brass bowl that's presented to the winner of each game. Brass bowl symbolizes the hard-nosed physical style of football played by both teams. First presented in 2004, the trophy is awarded to the winner of the annual game, which was a conference rivalry game until the teams were placed in separate divisions after Nebraska's entry into the Big Ten in 2011, but the rivalry then resumed in 2014. So there's your history. The brass bowl. It's the Heartland Trophy. So thank you to the Waverly Jim said the Floyd the Pig Trophy or something.
Floyd the Pig.
I think the Floyd of Rosedale is another one that, and like Northwestern's involved in a couple of these. Iowa, Minnesota is the Floyd of Rosedale. It was introduced in 1935. That's what I'm saying. The Big Ten has some, wild rivalry trophies. But there's a couple of them. But either way, it'll be interesting to see kind of how Iowa's schedule plays out. Just a fun note, and maybe this isn't as surprising or notable as I'm making it to be. 14 of the 18 teams are 2-0 in the Big Ten Conference. 14 18 teams. And a couple of those have played cakewalk schedules, sure, but a couple of them have also played some notable opponents. I think one thing maybe we need to get into at some point, maybe this is a conversation for tomorrow, is the whole, UCLA situation going on out there in Pasadena. I don't know, they're going to host New Mexico this weekend. Tomorrow night, actually, they host New Mexico at 9 p.m. Central Time. But then you look at what UCLA has coming up, and they're going to have to play Penn State. They have to travel to Michigan State. They have to travel to Northwestern, which is not a tough place to play by any means. They travel to Bloomington, to Ohio State, and to USC. I mean, they have to go through a couple of really, really tough teams to beat with the extended travel as well.
Nick, let me ask you this before we go to breaks, and we come back, we'll talk some Husker ball too.
Yeah.
If in this new crazy dynamic we're in and win now.
Yeah. Not the anti-crockpot society.
Yes, the anti-crockpot, No
slow cookers.
Yeah. Does Deshaun Foster make it after this year if they have a horrible year this year?
My heart says I hope so. I don't have issues with Deshaun Foster.
I don't either.
It's UCLA is also a place where I wonder, okay, what are the expectations, right? Like we ask this question about Nebraska all the time. What are the expectations? What being realistic? Do you feel like UCLA is a place where you can compete with championships? I think it more so goes to show what they shouldn't have fired Jim Mora. Like Jim Mora has now made UConn a competitive football program for where they're at. And UCLA is so tough. AD, I was just talking to somebody last night about it. Think about what that Nebraska at UCLA game is going to be like. You talk about a large number of Husker fans traveling.
It's going to be 60% or more Huskers there.
Yeah, it's going. I mean, we thought USC last year was heavily favored in terms of crowd for Nebraska. UCLA might be even more. And because you're gonna have a lot of Husker fans that say, "Oh, I want to go see what the Rose Bowl looks like. I want to go out there. It's gonna be nice weather in October, right? I want Nebraska. I want to see Nebraska play, and it's a game that, frankly, you feel like Nebraska should win, and so you'd want a happy trip home. I think that is very telling. You talk about it all the time. The apathy sets in. I don't think it takes long for some of those programs on the West Coast, like the UCLA's, for apathy to set in. And so that's what does, make it a possibility that UCLA looks for a new coach after this year.
Yeah, I like Deshaun Foster. I wonder, to your point, though, Nick, I think the more important question is, who are you, UCLA Bruins? Who are you? What are your expectations? And how much are you willing to invest in those expectations? A lot of people talk about this is our expectation, this is our mantra, this is our mission. Are you investing in it? I can bring it to this company right here, Nucor Steel. They are serious about safety, and they invest a lot into it. You've seen the videos and the pictures I sent you, man, just over the break.
Those are sweet.
And Nick, the thing about it is, dude, you have to have your head on the swivel, but they invested a lot of money. I'm talking, Nick, their monthly electric bill. No, let me take that back. their weekly electric bill over $1 million.
Okay.
As we were sitting on one of these platforms, we started shaking. I was like, okay, what's that? He goes, that's the electricity. They use more electricity than the whole entire city by themselves.
Oh my goodness.
$1 million a week in electricity is what they use.
Crazy.
They've invested in their infrastructure. Is UCLA willing to invest in their infrastructure? Because like you said, they got rid of more. Okay, that ship is sailed. It's done now. What have you invested with Foster to be successful? So that's the question. We could ask that same question like we did in Nebraska, Nick. We made that huge investment. We got a prime time commercial kitchen now. We've got some great ingredients. It's time to cook. But if you give a coach, a highway diner, no knock against the local highway diner in Lincoln or any highway diner, but if you give them a highway diner type kitchen and you want them to cook a 5-star meal, well, you can't blame the chef what he's got to work with. So it's going to be interesting what happens there in UCLA, man.
You're absolutely right. By the way, the buyout is always a conversation. If they fire Deshaun Foster before December 31st of 2025, he will be owed $7 million, and it decreases by $2 million next year. And then before in 2027, it goes down to $2.5 million. But even at $7 million is not that steep of a buyout for a Division I power conference program to make. So we'll see.
I hope we can work it out, man. Hope we can work. It's not against us.
I hope that there's a couple coaches. I'm worried about the future of David Braun at Northwestern. I really like David Braun at Northwestern. I like David Braun as a coach. We forget how much he was just kind of thrown into it.
Gosh.
And I really enjoy hearing him speak. And I think it takes a very special type of coach to be able to win at a consistent level at a place like Northwestern. And so maybe that makes it more respectable what Pat Fitzgerald was able to do. But ultimately, see what happens. You got to win. All right, AD, let's take it to break, my friend. The Drive, Nick Sainert here, AD out in Norfolk. AD back in the studio tomorrow on a Friday as we continue to get ready for Houston Christian on Saturday. We continue that conversation, Husker football, when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you've been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call to find out how Liberty Law can help you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg-curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, a show that has flown on by. It has been a fast-moving show here on a Thursday morning as we continue to remember all the lives lost on September 11th, 2001. Nick Sainert alongside Aaron Davis, AD, spending the day in not the day in Norfolk, but the morning in Norfolk. Are they allowing you a late checkout because you said, hey, I'm a big-time radio show host and it's Norfolk and you don't need this room yet?
You know, I think checkout's at noon.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm good, but or it might be 11. I actually don't even know when the checkout is, man. I have no idea.
They said, Mr. Davis, you check out when you want.
Yeah, I tell you what though, Nick, I'm ready to come home. This is the longest I've been gone, as you know. Usually it's, a day, 2 days max, travel day, speak day. Maybe I fly out that next morning, but this is the longest I've been gone in a while. And I'm grateful, man. I thank God that my leg held up, my back held up, because I would speak for literally my schedule was 8 to 9 and then 12:30 to 1:30. that was that schedule Monday and Tuesday. So 4 times, and 1,200 people total. Yesterday morning was just the one at 9. I'm sorry, at 8. And then this morning was the one at 7:30. By the time I gripped and grinned and everything. So I had to be up ready to roll, you know. And by the time I gripped and grinned and hug, you know, hold, you know, shaking hands and all that good stuff, you know, so it is taxing, man, because when you come out and speak, Nick, as you know, man, you don't want to come out there, well, thank you for everybody being here today, you know. You got to come out swinging. What's funny is the overall the plant director of all Nucor here in Norfolk, Joanna, she is from Columbus. She's an Ohio State fan. Oh, so I had some. We flipped the bull back and forth when she introduced me yesterday in front of, you know, the audiences were pretty big. So, but I'm ready to come home, man. Ready to get home. We got football tonight, football tomorrow. Real quick about football. Are you calling any games tomorrow night?
Yeah, we got to go one tomorrow night. Creighton Prep and Lincoln Southeast. The Junior Jays going up against the Knights. 7 p.m. kickoff at Seacrest. Jay and myself on the call for that one. So we're working through this. Next Saturday, we've had to make next Friday, excuse me, we've had to make a little bit of a change to the schedule. So there's a very good chance that AD, you and I will be out in the afternoon in Nebraska City. We'll have to be in Nebraska City. That's there. We're still working and finalizing some details there. But there might be an avenue here just to tease it to where Jay, Austin, AD, and I are doing radio in the afternoon next Friday from a special place, which could be really fun if the 4 of us are all together previewing Nebraska and Michigan. But then because of that would go up until 6 o'clock. Well, unfortunately, since we'd be an hour and a half away from home, we wouldn't be able to get back to Lincoln to do a high school football game. So there is a chance. I'm trying to work out some details, trying to get connected with the right people. And we've had some very, very minor conversations about us having an Auburn football game, not Auburn Tigers, but Auburn on the station against Ashland Greenwood. We've never been out to Auburn. We've never called a game between Auburn and Ashland Greenwood. Never been. I mean, the only time we've called Class C games, or excuse me, Class C is at state championship football. And so there's a very good chance that we'll be making our way eastward to Auburn on the way back from Nebraska City to call a game next Friday. So we'll see what the schedule is there. But tomorrow night, more specifically, is Creighton Prep and Lincoln Southeast.
Well, before we talk about Nebraska, you know what kind of makes me sad about if we go out there is knowing that if I was healthy, we'd be playing the golf course out there too in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Well, I could. I can always use the caddy, Aaron.
Speak for yourself, AD.
Yeah, I mean, you can ride along. We can just try to pay the cart fee, you know.
I'll be your little lapdog because I'm Doug and I love you.
Hey, I'll go up to the front desk and be like, yeah, so I'm going to play 18 riding, and then I got one rider. And he's whatever that fee is. I'll just take care of that one. I don't know.
I know we're going to go a lot Nebraska football tomorrow, breaking down, of course, Houston Christian, who they are, players to watch for, where they rank nationally tomorrow. So that'd be a full 10 to 11 hour tomorrow. I'm going to ask you this. Okay, you always like to say, and I love this saying. The first time I heard that the hay is in the barn was years ago. And then you brought it up again. My mind went back because the first time I heard it, I was out in Pennsylvania. I'll never forget. About 20 years ago, speaking at a high school, and the coach said, yeah, the hay's in the barn. And I started laughing because there's a lot of Amish people out in Pennsylvania that literally ride horse-drawn buggies. They don't believe in electricity.
Well, yeah, Amish, yeah.
Yeah, and so the guy goes, yeah, the hay's in the barn. I was like, what the hell did he just say?
Hey, so that's funny. That's great.
The hay's in the barn. And for Nebraska, I want to ask this, and I want you to expand on this before we go to break. It's Thursday. Nebraska's their hard work is done. The hay's in the barn, as if you would say. Yep. Today's practice is going to be just helmets for the most part, going over, just like I said, fundamentals, etc. If you were Matt Rule, of course, we heard about the fiery speech, etc. There's different varied opinion. You know, some people liked it. Some people thought it was this or that. I could care less. Just get them fired up and ready to play football.
The leak.
Yeah. I don't care whatsoever. Just go out on Saturday and take care of business. If your Rule, Nick, what are you telling your players, knowing, Nick, they're not dumb. They know good and well they should blow this team out. How do you keep this team focused on continuing the same momentum they had last week against Akron?
Well, I think it's you preach execution, and I think you also preach to the guys that are going to get in some later stages of the game. Preach it as an opportunity. I mean, this is another big chance for them to get some valuable playing experience and film, right? Like you can get all the practice film you want, but to be actually able to do it against another jersey and in a game in front of the crowd that will be out there at Memorial Stadium, that's meaningful. And so I think that it depends what group of the roster. I think to the entire team, you preach the execution, but I think to some of the guys that might not be able to play the rest of the year because they're just lower on the depth chart, I think you sit there and you say, okay, look at this as an opportunity. I mean, I think in this day and age, you have to accept that some of those guys might look for new opportunities, and they have to look at it and say, I might be able to get some film here these 2 weeks against Akron and Houston Christian that then I can go show other coaches. And if in all seriousness and in all transparency, Matt Rule also, I think it'd be smart to sit there and understand that and say, we're giving some guys some opportunities because as we know, AD, don't burn bridges. You do not burn bridges.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm excited to see. Nick, I'm going to say this, man. It's going to sound somewhat crazy, but I know most of the listeners will get this. I'm more excited to see Nebraska Saturday than I was against Akron last week because I want to see if they can replay the script again. I want to see if that's who they are. Akron was like, okay, that's pleasant. Okay, that's great. I want to see if there's consistency at beating teams you should beat in the fashion and the way that you should beat them. So I'm more curious about this game than I am about the Akron game for that same fact. Can you maintain that same type of sharpness, that same type of we're going to put our foot on your neck very early, let you know this game's done.
Yeah,
I want to see if they have that. I don't want to see Nebraska, and I just don't know yet because, like I said, there's still rooms in this new house that we haven't been open yet. We don't know what it looks like yet. So we're going to see the house rules, if you would, when it comes against Houston Christian, if this is real or not. I don't want Nebraska slugging it out in the third quarter with a team that they are, 3 guys at least deeper than. So I'm very fascinated about this game. And quite honestly, I'm not a fan of 11 o'clock kickoffs, but I'm very excited to see this game get started and see what they're made of.
I was going to say, I'm a fan of this game being at 11 a.m.
Yeah, done.
If we had to wait around until 6:30 on Saturday night to play this, and we missed the Bud Crawford and Canelo fight, I'd be a little frustrated.
You got to discuss that tomorrow too.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm glad it's an 11 a.m. game. I mean, I also am sitting here like, okay, there's been a lot of talk about how just unfortunate it is that Nebraska does have to play a program like Houston Christian, and hope for health and safety of everybody there and everything, and all the players especially. But then it's like, okay, you know what? Now we get to talk about the big one. Now it's not premature to talk about and preview Michigan. It's time. It's here. It's Michigan week. And so I think there's a lot of just anxiousness and excitement to get to that week eventually. Hey, shout out to Richie Rich on the text line 402-464-5685. Richie Rich says, I say the hay is in the barn at least 2 to 3 times a week about things.
I love it, Richie Rich.
Richie Rich says, I grew up actually putting hay in the barn, so I have a true appreciation for the analogy. There you go. I'm glad we can connect.
Our man Eric says, man, that dang Amish fireplace still has me confused.
You know what I thought about, and there might be a small group of people that actually understand this reference, is when you talked about the Amish folks out in Pennsylvania, all I could think about was on The Office, Dwight Schrute's cousin, and I'm spacing on the name. Somebody will be able to help me out on the text line, where they go and they basically kidnap their coworker and they take him out to the field and they say, okay, now you got to survive. And it's somebody on the text line will text in Dwight Schrute's brother or cousin. I can't remember who it is, but they're Amish, and so it's funny.
So Nick, I'm really excited to dive in tomorrow, man. Like I said, first of all, it'd be good to be home in my own bed, but also training radio, us really to dive in the numbers with Houston Christian, because I said that, but I really mean that. I'm really excited to see what Nebraska is going to look like on Saturday. And Nick, here's why I think it's important that we take care of business early. We still need to get a look. Those younger guys need some reps, because me and you both know the bugaboo. I mean, Euler, that had surgery. Just seen that on Todd Mueller's, our buddies, on the kickoff, backup linebacker, had successful surgery this morning. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Euler as well. Injuries happen, and sometimes we may not hear about it if the guy's not one or two deep, but like a Bonner. So you figure in 2 games, we got 2 guys that are out for the season already.
Yeah.
One that was that played significant minutes, Euler just being a young guy. So we both know that it's imperative to get a lot of guys some reps. So they get some real game time minutes on their jersey, on their time, like you mentioned, to hit somebody else with a different jersey. So I'm really curious to see what Nebraska does on Saturday at 11.
Yeah, 108 guys played last week. We'll see how many play in a little under 48 hours. Oh, just about 48 hours, actually. 48 hours and 12 minutes from when Nebraska kicks off against Houston Christian. All right, let's take a break. Final time out here, and we wrap things up on a Thursday coming up next.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the 2nd season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Blitz 250. Blitz 250 is a fully loaded pre-workout for those who want the most out of their workouts. Blitz 250 is safe for sport and banned substance free. Blitz 250 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For location info, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards. Best new car dealer, best auto repair, and best place to get your oil changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for best pre-owned dealer and best tire dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say It's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you've been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call to find out how Liberty Law can help you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in one final time on a Thursday, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainer, Aaron Davis with you. This show, as always, sponsored by our friends at Doors Plus. Visit them online, doorsplusllc.com, for any residential or commercial garage door jobs. All right, AD, before we get out of here, one thing I was going to say is that, and I lost my train of thought. So what do you got for the AD attitude adjustment today?
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell little Nicky that Dougie's coming home because I love you.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Old Dad 34 called me Nicky Bear on the text line. We're not doing that.
Nicky Bear.
We're going to stop that in its tracks before we even get rolled.
Nicky Bear. Nick,
Okay.
the AD attitude adjustment today, Nicky Bear.
That's crazy.
You know, I started my presentation by just simply going out and shaking hands like I always do, but even more emphatically this morning. And I said, "You're my brother. You're my brother. You're my brother. You're my brother." And I told him we may think differently. We may have wholly different opinions, but you are still my brother. One thing my father would always say, Nick, my dad had an attitude of empathy, to try to understand the way that someone else felt. That's what empathy is, man, is where you try to feel what someone else is feeling, even though it's different. And that's an attitude concept. Because my dad would always say, "Son, if you cut me open and you cut open my white brother over here, both of our blood better be red or somebody's in trouble." At the end of the day, underneath it all, we're humanity. And I thought about this morning, man, in my quiet time of prayer time, for a heart of empathy, to feel for those who hurt, for those who look different, think different, live different, and to quiet the noise and the rhetoric of this world so I can hear my neighbor's heart. I can hear my neighbor's differences. Even if we disagree, I can be agreeable and disagree with you, even if we choose to part ways. We can do that in peace. It doesn't have to be met with a sword, because the swords of words, Nick, are supposed to sharpen us, not kill one another. We've resorted to that, unfortunately. You know, I've not lost hope in humanity, Nick. I've not, because my hope is not in humanity. My hope is doing the best that I can for my fellow human, and what they do with that is on them. So I ask you all today, listening, keep learning, keep listening, keep thinking, keep having dialogue, even if you disagree. And if you disagree, we can partly disagree in peace. But we get one life, man. We get one chance. There's no rewinds. There's no one on instant replay and saying, well, no. We get one shot at this thing. So let's be mindful of that fact. I am your brother. You are my sister. You are my brother. I'm your brother. At the end of the day, it's humanity, humanity, humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. As always, appreciate you. As always, please get back home safely, and we'll see you in the studio tomorrow, my friend.
You bet, Nick. Appreciate you. Love you, little bro.
Love you too, man. There he is, AD Nick Sainer, saying so long for a Thursday morning. The Adam Carricker Show is coming up next. As Raph always says, be nice to one another. On this day, we remember, obviously, all the events happening in America and on this anniversary of 9/11. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Blitz 250. Blitz 250 is a fully loaded pre-workout for those who want the most out of their workouts. Blitz 250 is safe for sport and banned substance free. Blitz 250 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For location info, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Shuizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors,